No, no different. Only different in your mind. You must unlearn what you have learned.
Welcome to the Inglorious Blasters Podcast, the Star Wars Legion podcast talking anything and everything glorious or inglorious about the game. My name is Corey, and with me today are two young Padawans that are still learning. I call friends, John and Brendan. How's it going, my dudes?
It's going good. We're all going to be learning these days. We're all Padawans.
All of our hair is too short for the Padawan braid.
That's fair. My hair did used to be longer, like to my shoulder, a little bit above my shoulder.
Oh?
That was many moons ago, though.
Before I knew you.
Really?
Yes,
do you have pictures to confirm?
Yes, I do.
Pixar didn't have it.
Did you have a mullet, or was it just
No,
God,
no, no mullet. No, I'll send pictures later. Maybe not on the Discord though.
I need to see this. This is
Okay.
like shocking to me to hear.
All right, note to self: I will send some your way. If anyone else wants to see it,
Spam the Discord.
yes, pipe up in the Discord and maybe like the non-Legion fun section, the off-topic section. Anyway,
Just throw it in the pet pics.
all right, sure. Mental note for self.
Oh, no.
And then Evan can crop my eyes.
Exactly.
There you go.
Exactly.
It's going to be a good time in the Discord. You should come join it. The link is in the show notes. We have fun here. So if you've been living, your best life and you missed some crazy stuff happening over the weekend, Ministravaganza just happened. Legion's arguably biggest change for a while just dropped.
Just biggest change, period.
Biggest change, period. That's
Ever.
fair.
Ever.
Besides, becoming a game.
Correct. We're talking about the logo change. This is crazy.
Going from nothingness to
The
a game.
logo changed, everybody. It's not the same.
It has color.
No, but seriously, we're gonna go over. We're not gonna read the rules ad nauseum to you guys. We're gonna leave that up to you guys to go ahead and read. It's brand new to us as well. John, Brendan, and I are still digesting it. I only had one learning game of it so far, so we're trying to figure it out just like everyone else. But we're gonna go over our thoughts and feelings on some bigger rules changes. So we're gonna do that, and we're gonna go over some faction changes. So stick around; it should be a fun episode. Before we begin, though, I just want to highlight a couple quick upcoming tournaments. So we got the St. Lawrence Open. Brendan, what you got? What's the info on that one? What's the deal?
Well, while I pull that out, I will completely just ramble because I know for a fact it's at least in Canada off the top of my head.
This is a fact.
So it's in Canada. And it's going to be a grand tournament with 64 participants, October 19th and 20th in Montreal. If you want to know more, there is a website, the stlaurent.com/en/.
Excellent. And then we got one more tournament.
Okay.
Let's see. The
3-foot Good Fall Brawl on October 12th, so the weekend before the St. Laurent Open. They are hoping to get to 32 players, and that is in Davenport, Iowa.
That's right. So go show up if you're available. Should be a good time.
Should be. And there's one more tournament I want to talk about.
Yeah.
It is shortly after this episode will come out, about a week later. It previously hinted that I'm going to be at another grand tournament other than the Nova Open in this span of 6 grand tournament weekends in a row or something crazy like that. I will be at Gen Con.
Woo!
I will not be playing at Gen Con.
Oh,
I know. I will be there as one of the judges, and I will also be helping running Learn to Plays. So this rules change has made running the Learn to Plays a lot more interesting.
Right, you will be learning just like everyone else. Nice. That should be fun. Is the Gen Con tournament the new rules or the old
Gen
rules?
Con tournament will be the old rules, just because 2 weeks didn't seem quite fair. AMG has given out official word that any tournaments after August 5th should be using the new rules.
Gotcha. Good to know. Well, with that said, how about we go on to the main bulk of the episode, the Ministravaganza, right? There's lots of info to talk about. Real quick, did you notice during AMG stream, they, I forget which panelist kept calling it, but every time they bring up a unit change, they'd be like, and now this unit is glorious. And I'm like, yep, they sure are. He kept saying every change was glorious.
Stealing our taglines.
That's right.
Now,
the heck, we should get royalties.
I do want to say, before we get into all the rule changes, just real quick, let's just go over the roadmap for all the things they've told us about. We didn't talk about this as part of the plan, but I think that's good to hype out what is coming, not to just dwell on what has changed.
Frame the conversation. Yep.
Yeah. So in October of this year is projected, we're getting both the Rebel Sleeper Cells and the Riot Control Squads. Both of those units look like fun. We'll dedicate some time next episode to actually go over the unit cards, because there's already a lot to talk about. And then 2025 looks like a very exciting year, with Q1 getting the Crab Droids for the Separatists, the ARF Troopers for the Republic, the Aqua Droids for the Separatists, and the Outer Rim Terrain Pack. Q2 will get the Resculpt for Stormtroopers. That will be bigger, more Stormtroopers in the box. Same with Rebel Troopers. Also get new Sculpt Scout Troopers, new Sculpt Rebel Commandos, and for the Republic, they will finally be getting Ahsoka Tano, but 2 different Ahsoka Tanos. They'll get Padawan and Commander Ahsoka Tano. John is looking very happy right now.
It's a miracle!
In Q3 next year, they are projecting the updated faction card packs. More on that as we talk about some of the changes. The Heroes of the Rebellion, which is new sculpts for all the older Heroes of the Rebellion. We're talking Han, Luke, Chewie, Leia, and somebody else.
OP Luke.
And OP Luke, yeah. 2 Lukes. The Commander Darth Vader and General Veers sculpts, Clone Trooper Marksman, and Clone Trooper Infantry, all in Q3. And then starting in Q4, we get the crazy idea that Corey and I had talked about a couple episodes back. Characters on vehicles.
It's happening, everyone. Sound the alarm.
We called it. The first one is in Q4, and that's General Grievous on the wheel bike. And then going into 2026, Q1 is Han and Luke on Tauntauns, as well as Imperial probe droids, an Imperial High Command that includes Thrawn and Tarkin and new Krennic, and also I think it was Tag.
That sounds right.
So yeah, everybody who goes, hey, I recognize this character and this character and this character, and who dat? So
pretty much.
But yeah, so a lot coming. It looks like it's going to be a fun next few years in releases. So
yeah, looking forward to it.
I'm just upset they didn't announce Vader on horseback.
Same, but I'm going to be patient. Okay, it's only a matter of time. Okay, we've waited this long.
Trust me, at Gen Con, I will be asking questions just about Vader on horseback.
Just no, you got to ease them into it. Be like, so how much development is from the comic books?
Right. So nothing immediately comes to mind looking at the movies for Imperial characters on riding something. And did you look
Never
at
mind the fact that they rode
books?
speeder bikes and
none of the characters did. None of the Imperial characters did.
No, okay. None of the Imperials did. That's fair. Yeah, it's the answer is clear. It's Vader on a horse.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, this is nonsense. All right, we're going to talk about something else. Here's the new rules. So we're going to try and structure this maybe a little bit. And
try being the operative word.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to try. So we're going to talk about turn 0 first. Turn 0, big changes. All the old missions, deployments, and condition cards. Throw them away in the garbage. That's no more. They've made a brand new system in which you grab... you make 3 decks. You make a deck of 3 cards for your primary mission, your secondary mission, and then your own player advantage. And then, you kind of go through a similar turn 0 setup, but blue players determined randomly by rolling 5 dice. And then you do it the same
specifically.
Black attack dice, yes, correct. And then whoever gets the most crits, and then tiebreakers or hits, and then surges. Anyways. Yeah, it's almost the same, except you can now actually take blue player if you are red. The advantage for blue player is that you can pick board side, which is probably pretty big in this, where we're mainly playing battle lines, but more on that later. Yeah, and then if you just you could what do you call it? You can flip a new card from your deck onto either one of those 3 decks, which is the primary, objective, secondary, or your advantage. And then I think that's it for turn 0. What are your guys' thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, I haven't got the chance to play any of it yet. Overall, it both looks more simple and more complex at the same time, if that makes any sense.
I kind of agree.
Because, I mean, obviously, there's only 6 scenarios now for the battle cards, to figure out the primary way to, score your objectives. And all 6 of them are pretty similar, but they all have their own unique twist. So it's going to be figuring out the nuances of each of those now. I think where the real flavor comes in is with the secondary objectives, because that's where I feel like you can figure out a way to try and score more points than your opponent, because 2 of the things you didn't mention, Corey, in these big changes is Legion's now only 5 rounds instead of 6.
Yes.
And it's first to 12 victory points.
Right. You check that at the end of the turn. Whoever has 12 or more, then the game ends.
Yep.
Yep. Good call out.
So these, the whatever combination of primary and secondary can really skew how the scoring's happening.
Yeah, absolutely. John, any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, the positive is I feel like there's less situations where people get forced into an objective that is so unfavorable that it feels like an uphill battle from the start. Like, there's obviously going to be situations where you feel like your opponent has some form of an advantage, especially when somebody gets to pick table side, but there's not going to be any payload hemmed in situations or situations where you end up on breakthrough and you have somebody with 12 acts to your 8 acts and you're really, struggling to try to knock out their activations. So they do seem to be random in nature, obviously, which I dislike, but since they don't necessarily favor skews as much as they used to, the randomization doesn't seem to matter as much. At least that's my first impression, is kind of how I feel about it.
The only thing I would say is, I think this new update favors movement. If you get free movement, if you have a speed 3 movement or compulsory or free jumps, I feel like that helps you out a lot on objective play, because you can move across the board quickly in order to contest those points of interest.
Yeah, I'm going to say what I think, personally for me, I like the most out of this whole change is it's actually making people play the game. There's not
That's
going
fair.
to be any situations where, well, I can just keep retreating my army and you have to come to me. That's completely gone from this version of the game. And
It is.
personally, having done that to people, as well as having had that done to me, those were some of my least favorite games.
Yeah, it's just that's true. It feels bad, and I will not argue that. You're correct. I just wish there was some thematicness to like at least the primaries.
Yeah. There's definitely more theme in the secondaries.
Yes. So like the primaries are just stand near this Pokeball, the, and then just earn points or destroy it or whatever.
Yeah. Sometimes it's blow it up.
Yeah.
I think there's only one of the scenarios where they actually move.
That's shifting priorities.
Yeah,
where it
and it
actually
doesn't
moves.
move much.
No, a very small amount. So on one hand, I'm excited to try new missions. On the other hand, I don't feel the theme dripping from it. So, for example, in the old one, you're delivering bombs to your opponent's deployment zone. Like that's neat. You're delivering a payload somewhere to a piece of terrain to blow up. Maybe like the piece of terrain is important. You're picking up intel that's important. And hostage deal that went wrong. Those were like the more thematic ones, and I liked those because just I can imagine the scenario in my head, but with this, it's just like, why are we fighting over this? I don't know. We just kind of are.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's very much here's the spots that you need to stand at in this mission,
Yeah.
and then here's the spots you need to stand at in this mission, and it's really just 6 different
And this is
spots.
how you earn points.
Right, and
Yeah.
and the reason that getting to them quicker matters is as soon as somebody gets to 12, it's game over. So it's pretty much who can get to the most spots as quick as possible and hold those spots and start accumulating points and basically snowballing your opponent while also destroying things in the process. But beyond that, it's just very, I don't know. My concern,
It's just bland.
Yeah, I was gonna say it just doesn't seem like there's gonna be as much replayability because like a game of apps can be very different based on like, oh, this time the VAPs end up here, this time the VAPs end up here, this time because you're placing them versus this, they're always in the same spot. Period.
Right.
Now, just to play, I guess, devil's advocate, the AMG didn't mention that this is just the beginning of the changes. So there is
I'm glad you
hope
brought that up, yeah.
that they have more scenarios planned that are more along the lines of the older ones, and they just decided to start with these to help us get used to them because these might be the most bland they have on the docket.
I hope so, because currently it's just slightly boring in terms of like the primary mission. That's it.
Yeah, again, I think the flavors.
I know they put out
right
more.
now.
Right. I know they put out more for Shatterpoint, where it was just like the same mission for like someone can quote me on it, but like maybe 3 months or something like that. And it was like literally the same mission for like the longest time, and they only came out with one mission. I was so pissed. But apparently now they made more, and it's like pretty decent. So I have hope. So I don't think we got the full picture yet because they only updated like half the units, and those are like the first 2 years worth of like units or something like that.
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah, so like I got hope, and we just definitely did not get the full picture yet.
Yep.
So
Yeah, they're
we're
definitely
just getting a little sprinkling.
Yeah, they're easing us into it. So I have hopes that there is more that besides
Right.
just
we know
more
nothing,
updates
but
to other
we're
cards.
hoping. Right. We know nothing, but we're hoping for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else on turn 0 we want to talk about? Oh, the advantages are cool. I like that there's no bad. Well, I'll call them green cards because that's what they were in the other edition.
Mm-hmm.
But there's like no bad green ones for you. It's just only good things.
They're only things that help you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
So
you and
it's
your
not
opponent
like, oh,
can
God, I'm
have
playing
different
limited
things.
viz.
Right. And you and your opponent can have different benefits. So
Yes. Yeah.
that is fun.
Which is neat.
Again, these do feel a lot more thematic because we finally have like artillery barrages and strafing runs with the strafing run card and the ordnance card. So
Right.
That is interesting.
Secondaries are cool. Hilariously, you can play Breakthrough, and I'll quote like Bombing Run as the secondary. That's Breakthrough Bombing Run would probably be really good for a speeder list.
Yeah. I will say one of the secondaries is something you're able to get basically almost any game if you play Krennic, just because it's to give suppression to everything.
Yeah, it's just like, give me them VPs.
But you would also end up giving your opponent all the points too.
I guess like it's fine if you're ahead at least by one VP. Right?
It actually...
I guess so, right?
If you just have to hit the 12 first.
It's so weird.
I mean, if they were at 9 points and you were at 11 and you saw that like your forces were dwindling and the next turn they were going to basically overrun you, but it's like, oh, I play Annihilation Looms and boom, game over.
Well, I mean, they still check
end of the
victory
turn.
at the end of the
okay,
round.
Never mind. I was just trying to think about why that would be beneficial to both simultaneously jump up 1 point each.
Exactly.
That wouldn't be 1 point. It would be
like
a
2 points,
total
right?
of... it's 2 points each, but if you end up getting to panic something, it's another 2 points. So that might be where the strategy lies. Go, all right, that unit's almost panicked. I just need to... Boom.
I actually think this gives Lock Durd more play, to be honest, because like now the barrage with Lock Durd makes sense.
That's not a bad
Then you
call.
can just put force suppression on something. Anyways, I'm getting into the weeds.
But yeah, I think the secondaries
feel cool.
Secondaries and the benefit cards are, I think, definitely big wins.
Yeah.
They're not called benefits; they're called advantages. That's it.
Advantages, right?
And I don't know if we said the POIs or the points of interest are basically 2-inch right now
circles.
paper, but there's a lot of people that are doing the STL files where you can actually print out like a 2-inch token.
Yep.
So a little bit bigger than the old key position tokens, which are now being repurposed for different things.
Yeah, they're called asset tokens now.
Yeah.
Asset tokens.
And then they actually use the green tokens, like I think those were used for boxes. Like you know what the green numbered ones? You know what I'm talking about?
Those were the condition tokens.
Yeah, right. Those are the condition tokens. Now they're also being used for.
Those are
Some
the
of the-
advantage
some of them,
advantage
yeah.
tokens.
Yeah. So, pretty neat. They're still reusing old stuff.
Repurposing.
Yeah.
I feel a lot better
reuse,
since
recycle.
I'm throwing out so much of my stuff that I already paid for. At least I get to reuse 1 or 2 tokens that.
That's right. Alrighty. Yeah. Anything else about turn 0 for now?
The only other major thing for turn 0 is deployment doesn't exist anymore.
Oh, right. I was gonna get into that next.
Yeah, I figured that was a good segue. Because turn 0 used to also incorporate deploying your units on the battlefield, but now that's part of turn 1, and everybody comes off from the edge of the board from your what we used to call deployment zone. It's now
That's called a territory.
Yeah, friendly territory.
Yeah.
So basically,
And then you use the movement tool at the very edge of the board, and those what they call the prongs. They have to touch the edge, and then you can wiggle the other part of the stick wherever you like. Yeah.
and that's one of your. If you only have 2 actions, one of your 2 actions is that first move to get onto the table.
Yep.
Now there are still units that can already be on the table. New keyword: fortified position. Right.
Prepared
positions. Prepared positions. They basically deploy in the friendly territory like normal deployment. That happens before anything else.
Very powerful effect.
Yeah.
Yep.
Then also infiltrate. You get to put them down inside the territory, and then they can do their actions. And scout counts as a free move coming onto the table, and then they can do their normal actions after that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Which Corey already mentioned how important it is to get those get to your POIs quickly, I feel like Scout is now more useful than ever.
Any of those movement
I mean, it
shenanigans,
really
like,
any of them are, but
yeah.
But yeah, getting that free move and being able to be on the board, that basically eliminates that whole move of wasting half of your first turn, knowing that you only have 5 turns now instead of 6, and really it's like 4.5 if you account for the first move onto the board. So yeah, getting that freebie and getting a full 10 actions between all 5 turns, if it even goes 5 turns, is huge.
Yeah, and it's extra proof of how important getting on the table farther is. I mean, Recon Intel's 5 points now instead of 2. So
Yep.
a lot tougher to spam that.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I have an extra 2 points. Sure, random recon.
Well, you might as well spend them because there's no more bidding. So
That's true.
That's right.
Bidding is gone. Use those points.
Yep, use them all.
Speaking of, it's 1,000 points now instead of 800.
Yes, which is like interesting because it's like you can have your cake and eat it too. Feels the moment where it's like I'm building a list, and a lot of points have changed, right? Like, you know, a lot of stuff went down in points, which I feel in the right spots. And if they kept it at 800, I'd be pretty happy. But then now it's like 1,000, where it's like, oh, I could just fit a whole ATSD in here. Sure. It's like, sure, why not?
Yeah, there are a lot of changes. But we'll get into that.
Yes.
Do we want more later?
Yeah. Yeah, we could talk about that later, like in terms of like units and stuff like that. But
units and the faction changes. And...
What I feel like we should talk about is like the rules of engagement have kind of changed with the way they ruled the movement template. So it works like every other AMG game, where when you move your model, you still have to put the notch on the trooper unit, and then you could place that trooper anywhere along the movement template. So if you place it on the top of the prong, it's no longer less than range 1. It is like pretty much range 1, maybe a little bit above. So basically, movement is interesting because now you can move shoot into a new rage band.
Yeah, so basically ignore all the advice we gave last episode to turn your game from inglorious to glorious. Because
you must unlearn what you have learned.
Our previous episode, unfortunately,
did not age well very quickly.
Yes.
That was immediate too. I was like, oh, what a great segment idea. This would be great.
Yep. And it'll still be a great segment idea. It'll just be with the new rule set. But everything we talked about for the first one is maybe more of just a culmination of everything we learned through the first 6 years of playing that is now somewhat useless.
Just throw it out the window, everybody. It's a whole new game.
So yeah, now stating you are at a certain range doesn't really matter as much.
So I didn't tell you guys this, but I was telling some of my locals. I think I might look my opponent dead in the face and say, we are currently at range 3. I'm going to take a move and be at range 2, and then I'm going to shoot. I'm not even going to measure anymore. Like, no, if it's a straight line, like, why should I bother?
I mean,
yeah.
And if they're cool with that, I'm just going to be like, I don't care. If we declare it, like, it's fine.
I was kind of thinking the same thing. Like, if you're not slowed by difficult terrain, if the path is just straight as an arrow, why even measure it if you know that you can make the shot?
Yep. So it's a random thought I had. I'm like, well, this might be the conversations I have on the table. Anyways,
the game, one part of the game hasn't changed, and that's talk to your opponent. Make sure intent is clear.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. Anything else about like movement or?
I will say, just going off of movement, people are probably going to be more aggressive with their movements because of the cover changes.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. Cover's changed a lot. Someone else talk about it first.
Sure. So there is still light cover and heavy cover, but it doesn't just immediately take hits off like it used to. you now roll white defense dice for every hit. So let's say I rolled 6 hits into something. I'm going to roll 6 white defense dice. If it's light cover, I stop hits on blocks. If it's heavy cover, I stop things on surging blocks. So, you go from your 1 in 6 chance to your 1/3 chance to block those things with a die roll. That's basically how cover works now. In addition to cover, there is still kind of the old heavy cover still in existence. And that is, I'm drawing a blank on the actual term here.
Backup.
Thank you, backup. And this is very particular. Your commanders or operatives have to be a half range 1, so 3 inches.
So yeah,
from a core unit leader. It has to be the leader of a core unit squad. And if they are, you can take another 2 hits off the pile. And that's after the cover roll.
But if you're getting shot at range 2 or
closer, it doesn't happen.
Closer, then it does not take effect.
Yes. Additionally, it also works if a unit has entourage or retinue.
And retinue. Yep.
For whatever that is. So like Palpatine and Royal Guards. So the Royal Guards, as long as they're next to Palpatine, within the leader's within 3 inches of Palpatine, and the attack is from farther than range 2, Palpatine can take 2 off immediately, and then they're still Protector and Guardian. And
that means I kind of cheated my one opponent because I forgot that happened. Anyways, that was a learning game. He was using Rook cast with Maul, so she has retinue Maul.
Oh, as long as she within the range from Maul?
She was.
The unit leader. So
that's right.
Yeah, gotta keep track of that. So I personally, just now that we've gone over all the cover stuff, personally, I like the change because I get to roll more dice, and it will be fun to see how terrible my cover saves are. But I usually roll red defense dice, so this will be nice and fun and different for me. But at the same time, there's always that off chance you just block everything. It's highly unlikely, but if that happens, that is an event that both you and your opponent will never forget.
John, do you have any thoughts on cover before I tell a story?
I mean, I'm not a huge fan of it, but
that's fair.
I mean, pretty much the disclaimer for any of these things, anytime there is a increase in the amount of randomness injected into the game, I am not a fan of it.
See, that's where John and I differ.
So something like this, where it's like, you could block all of them or none of them. It's crazy. Like, I hate that. I like I know what light is, I know what heavy is, I can account for all the variables. That's just how I enjoy playing strategy games. So I feel like it makes it much more random. Well, not much. I mean, it's straight random. So I dislike that.
You mean like actual combat is straight random? Because you might still be behind cover and still get a bullet to the face.
Or in this case, a laser.
I'm just saying, it feels like it's a little bit more realistic than, well, all of a sudden these shots are gone.
Are we trying to be realistic in our space game?
Yes. With our crazy randomness.
Futuristic space combat game.
I'm just trying to counteract John's logic.
No, I know. I understand. I mean, to John's, to slightly push back, it's like, well, we still have backup. You still have barrier. And then, like, dodges are more important than ever.
Guardian.
Yeah, you have Guardian. And, like, for your faction, like, Guardian's really good now. Obi-Wan's Sarasu is really good. We don't have to go into it now, but all right, story time. Ready? I had a full unit of B1s. They were naked with a repair bot, sitting in heavy cover. A Blackstone Enforcer rolls up and shoots them, and I'm like, okay, I shouldn't die to this, even if they get a bunch. So after everything was said and done, he got 1 crit and 7 hits. So I had to roll 7 cover saves. Okay, so I'm in heavy. This is a 5-up. I make none. My cover save is supposed to be better than my.
Rolled for the crit, because crits still go past
I
cover.
said I had crit and then 7 hits. So I rolled 7s.
So you rolled. Okay,
yeah.
I'm following now.
Just 7 saves. Yeah.
Because we didn't mention.
So I rolled nothing.
So still don't roll for crits. You rolled nothing on the cover.
Nothing.
Oh no.
I rolled nothing on the cover, and I said, "Well, good luck to me, because my actual save is worse." And then I chuck all 8 dice, and I made 1 save, and I was like, "Yep, that whole squad's dead."
Oh.
So I know this cover system is going to produce. Obviously, I'm going to state the very obvious. It's either going to be average or feels bad for either player.
Yeah.
I feel, for the love of God, I hope it's like more average. That was such a bad save even for B1s on 5-ups. I need more games of this. This is like an anomaly. Yeah. Cover felt weird, and I mean, my opponent. It was either me or my opponent. There was like three or 4 hits incoming, and like I blocked 3 out of the 4, and I was like, huh, okay, that's something.
Yeah, I mean.
So I mean, it's like good and bad, but you will definitely feel the bad ones.
Oh yeah,
you will definitely feel it.
Bound to happen.
Yeah.
It's dice. We're playing a dice game.
I know.
I came here to roll dice.
Fair. It just feels very 40K, where it's like you roll the hit, you roll to see if cover is effective, then you roll your blocks, and then I don't know.
Yes,
40K has like 4 different rolls. We're like one more roll away from 40K.
All right, this is the end of the rolls. We don't need more.
Okay. All right, we're done. We're done with the rolls.
No, I'm just saying we don't add more rolls. Also, vehicles don't get cover anymore.
Yes, they do not. I find it funny that they just couldn't find a fix for vehicle cover. So they were like, all right, if you can see any part of the base or silhouette, you can shoot it.
Yeah, unless it has native cover.
Right. And that's only a few things, which is speeders.
And the lat. So I'm really looking forward to playing the lat and getting to fail double the amount of saves.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Hey, that's just extra chances, all right? That's just extra chances to fail.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And then, so cover is also slightly different because you have to be 3 inches or the half range from the piece of terrain with your unit leader. Is that correct?
Yes, the piece of, if you aren't, well, just, I think from the unit, not the unit leader. I could be wrong on that.
Oh, no, I think you're right. It's just
But it's got to be the piece of terrain in the line of sight of the shot, and you have to be close to it, the 3 inches from it, unless it is a piece of terrain that is line of sight obscuring.
Right. Cool. Anything else on cover before we move on? Or any other thoughts?
I think that covered it all.
Sharpshooter and blast and all that are obviously
those are great keywords.
More valuable keywords.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so sharpshooter obviously just changes the either number of do you get the surge or not, or do you even roll the dice depending on the cover situation. Blast obviously gets rid of the roll, and then low profile, you roll 1 less die and count a extra block. You
just basically add a block to the pool.
Well, you roll 1 less than you have to and have an extra block there. So yeah, you automatically get 1 block basically.
Yeah, that's basically. Sweet. And then I want to talk about mega squads, or the squad. I don't know what everyone's calling them, but I call them mega squads because it just sounds fun. Where you just basically pay a certain amount of points and you get like somewhere between 4 and 7 extra dudes.
It depends on the squad.
Depends on the squad. So for example, B2s, they get 4 more. Yeah, they get 4 more. And it costs like 77 points, but it's oh so worth it. That's brand new to this game. They just this version of the game, and I like it.
Personnel upgrade.
Right, it's a personnel upgrade. Thank you. And I like the change. I don't know how it's going to impact the game, but my first thought after playing one game is I want at least two mega squads. And that's because you want to hold POIs on the board, and the way that the POIs are spread across the map, there's some to your left and there's some to your right, and then maybe some in the middle. So if you have two mega squads, or if you have one on your left and then one on your right, you can hopefully hold both pretty well. That's like my first thought. Or like in my game, I just used 2B2s to run down one flank and just annihilate everything. That was really fun. What are your guys' thoughts on mega squads?
I think it's amazing. Just because the one thing that's always bugged me about the game is it's called Legion, and it never felt like there was a legion of troops.
The only time I felt like it was legions of stuff was like my B1 Horde.
B1 Hordes and Ewoks, basically
and
it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I'm very happy to see just more generic guys on the table. And sometimes...
And they're going to do work.
They're definitely going to do some work. It's going to take a lot longer to kill that squad, because they're
So
basically doubling in health. So...
Yeah.
Plus, I don't know if it's on all of them, but I think it is. They all become indomitable as well. So
It's on
suppression is less of an issue for them. Like, hey, we're more courageous because numbers.
It's also kind of funny their courage value still stays 1.
Yes.
Or whatever it is.
Whatever it is, yeah.
Yeah.
But I really like the idea.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. I think you fortify the objectives, POIs that are closer to your opponent, because then they have to whittle down those large squads, and then you can use your smaller squads at the POIs that are farther away and less likely to get shot.
Yeah. I definitely think they're pushing them on this, so I think you're going to want to at least invest in 1 or 2.
Yep.
I think it's a good choice, everyone.
Fire support is no longer in the clone faction. I know
fire support's completely changed.
Basically, yes.
Changed. We could probably just roll into faction changes or favorite faction changes if you guys want.
So we'll let John start with his gripe. So go ahead.
Yes.
I mean, it's not. It's sad because I feel like it was such a big component of my gameplay. Multiple turns of looking for just that one big game-changing fire support has been just essential to how I've played the game for years. So that's kind of sad. But where I was going with it, honestly, was the only way to get those hit numbers up to 10 plus is to do, without having fire support, is to do the mega squads. So I've already been doing all right, if I have a mega squad with 5s, they take an aim, or even if you put O-push on them to get a move shoot with an aim, and then, no more exemplar. So that's a whole nother... I mean, it's a rabbit hole of changes when you start talking about Republic. So just trying to think about how can I mimic a fire support, and the only way to get close to it is with a mega squad, basically.
Yep. Yep.
It's sad. As I'm explaining it, I'm like, no more exemplar, no more this, no more this. Yeah, there's a lot of Republic changes.
It evens the playing field.
Yeah. I mean, they still seem very powerful. Arcs have Scout 2, which is going to be very helpful in this world of getting that free Speed 2 move off the jump. They no longer have their range 3 shot, but their range 2 pool is just 2 black die instead of a black and a white.
They changed that too?
Yep.
Woof. Okay.
Yep. So their range 2
That's what B2's roll at too.
They only have the range 2 pool, but the range 2 pool is a little bit stronger. It's a little bit more reliable. So Arcs got a little bit of a tweak. They went down a little bit of points. If you give them the DC 15X, they're 2 points less than they were at 95 points instead of 97. They consolidated phase 1s and phase 2s into just clone trooper infantry. So there's no more phase 1s and phase 2s. It's just straight clone trooper infantry. But they have reliable 1 and a courage 2, so that's kind of nice. And then pretty much you can give them just about any weapon outside of the DC-15, which is now just no longer in the game.
That's such an interesting choice.
Well, they've got a whole new squad coming out that's nothing but DC-15s.
Correct. So you can kind of outfit them. Yeah, I mean, it is weird, though, that I have all these DC-15 models, though, that it's kind of like, well, what do I do with this guy?
That's what I'm getting at. It's like, I guess you could just use them as generic dudes in your
for now.
clone ball.
Yeah.
So,
I guess.
Whatever.
So you can throw in like a mortar, which used to only be in a phase 2. You can throw in an RPS, which only used to be in a phase 1. So you've got this whole, basically customize your clone trooper infantry however you see fit. And then I mentioned fire support is obviously gone as far as adding your dice to another pool. But fire support is still there in the way of being able to add a clone comms technician. And they redid the rule of fire support to just allow for a free standby token when you're issued a face-up order token. It'll cost you 30 points, so it's expensive, and they reworked how standbys work. So it's not really anything like the old fire support.
I mean, free standbys aren't nice.
But it's not free. It's 30 points. It's basically 30 points.
Well,
unless you subtract the cost of the dude.
Yeah.
The dude is like 15 by himself. So really it's like 15 if you want to look at it.
You're getting potential free attack, so...
I mean, Empire's got 2 command cards. Let's just give them out for free.
That's true.
True. I do think there's some play, though, with doing like clone trooper infantry with that comms tech guy and then throwing, Overwatch on him. Like you start to almost feel a little bit old school Rex Star-ish. So that's something I want to explore.
I think Rex is going to be good.
Yeah. Well, getting scouting party is huge. I mean, the list that I'm putting into our Discord, I'm like, Rex with Anakin? To get Anakin that free? Because Anakin is basically, like, that's another thing. Anakin is literally...
He's already on the board, right?
He is a absolute beast. Exemplar's gone. Now. Yeah, he's a monster now.
He's just a big beat stick rather than hang back, which is, I think, a better change.
Yep, he's no longer a support commander for 4 or 5 turns, followed by maybe a turn 6 dive or saber throw fire support or force push. He's just a straight up beat stick now. He honestly has so many rules changes and command card changes that I suggest you look at it versus me just reading.
Brand new character.
Brand new card, basically.
He's going to murder things.
Yep.
Yes.
And all of his keywords are reworked. No more flaw card. Tempt is completely different. I mean, he is a completely different model. Well, not model, unit. The model is obviously the same. But yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, there's trying to think of any other major ones. Token sharing is now range 2 instead of range 1. So you can spread your guys out a little bit farther, which is nice. Can you guys think
That's
of
a
any
good
other?
change.
That's a good one. Yeah, then you don't have to ball up literally as much. The faction lost Exemplar as a whole, so no more Exemplar on Anakin or Padme. I already said Anakin, but Padme doesn't have it either.
Padme is dirt cheap now. I don't know what she does. I don't know what her role is anymore.
She
nothing. Her role is nothing.
Yeah, that's my first thought. What does she do?
She bolsters and inspires.
Sits in your cabinet.
I guess.
What
and
does.
free moves.
60,
she can get free
60
moves.
points. Okay.
But she doesn't have authoritative, so she can't pass that order on aggressive negotiations to give the so it's like half that card has been neutered. I don't know. So I don't see a huge benefit to her basically.
Oh.
So yeah, Exemplar's gone. They gave Exemplar to a lot of the support commanders and other factions. And aside from that, I mean, minor tweaks, but the big thing is fire support's gone. P1s and P2s are just basically consolidated into Clone Trooper Infantry. The rework of Anakin Exemplar's gone, and an increased clone trooper token sharing range. That's pretty much all the big things when it comes to Republic. But definitely look through the cards, which we said we're not gonna read through every single change. That's kind of the big ones, though.
Yeah. Brendan, you want to go over like Empire?
I'd be happy
or like
to
some
go
favorite
over
faction changes.
Some Empire changes. I'm going to begin with my least favorite. It's not even a faction change. It's just a straight up change, and it's the transport keyword. Because how it works is a unit with the transport keyword can choose to give an order to another unit, but it's now transports can only transport core and special forces. So I'm sorry to say, but Vaderlat is dead, and Myrtleizer is dead.
Yeah, rip Myrtleizer.
I'm happy I played it while it lasted, but that doesn't work. And now also it's the transport comes out, does its first move, and then the unit gets out of the vehicle after that first move. It'd be real different if it could double move and let the thing out. But, so it doesn't do much. I'm also now sad I never got to play double Gav, double E-Web. But
oh, that was fun. I like that.
Yeah. So, all right. Now that my griping is done with, the E-Web is range 4.
It's glorious.
It's
we're automatically flipping it.
Yeah.
Okay, it's glorious.
Automatically. The fact that it also has prepared position, so you can put it in your friendly territory. It doesn't have to move onto the board. You know where it is. Also, one thing we didn't mention about prepared position is anything with that turn 1 also has a dodge token because your opponent knows where it is. So,
yep.
Is that the only difference between that and infiltrate? I've been trying to figure out. Okay.
Yes.
Pretty much.
Because I was thinking about that as we were saying it, and I was like, so they're basically the same. And until you said the dodge token.
Prepared, you start before deployment.
Yeah.
Like you start on the board before deployment. Infiltrate is
you are during round 1.
It's during, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the main thing. It's infiltrate is haha, surprise, here I am, versus well, I've been waiting for you. So
that's right. It's like, yes, you poked your head out.
Yeah. So I think now there is actual play to do shore troopers and E-Webs, because the shore troopers also have prepared position and they are emplacement troopers. They still have the coordinate emplacement trooper. So you can get those extra orders out to your E-Webs, which is great. Shore troopers did lose target 1. They don't get a free aim for getting orders now. But they've got long shot. So
which is like, oh boy.
Oh, hey,
good.
You want your guys to always be able to shoot range 4? Have an aim token.
Seems good.
Especially
with like the changes to Exemplar.
Guess what? The Empire has Exemplar on Krennic and
God.
Veers and the Imperial Officer. So guess what? Spotter? Okay, sure. Here you go. Here's an aim token. Oh, guess what? I'm going to take an aim token myself because I want you to shoot further.
That's right.
This makes me sick. This game has gotten out of hand.
And
Let's
I
be real. Look, you're talking about shores and E-Webs. That's cool. But what if I want to take 4 E-Webs? That's going in Blizzard Force, baby.
Oh, that's true.
That's super dirt cheap.
Yes.
I feel like it might be a thing. Well,
they are 60
I kinda wanna
points
play with it
each.
because I know I have 4.
I am also very excited with the E-Web. I'm going back and forth here. The main cannon, the dice pool hasn't changed. It still surges to crit, but it also now has native impact 1. So you don't have to necessarily take the generator to give it impact 1 if you don't want to.
You don't have to.
You probably will, because then it's impact 2 and another black die. But if you want to go impact 1 and suppressive with 2 more white dice, go for it. I mean,
seems good.
Seems real good. But I think my favorite changes are for Krennic and Veers from what we've seen. And that's because Krennic has gone down in points, and we already knew he has Compel, Cunning, Entourage, Imperial Death Troopers, and Exemplar. But he's also Spotter 1 now for Freezies.
I was already putting that on him,
Right.
so like, thanks.
And now he's only 65 points with all of that. Plus his gun got better. It's 3 red now.
He'd only surges to hit, not crit,
Yeah.
but that's fine. I no pierce, but
No
sure.
Pierce. But
That I will take this Krennic over the old Krennic.
we have
any
we
day.
have lost a lot of Pierce around here. But same with Veers. I mean, he hasn't changed much. He doesn't have Pierce on his blaster rifle, but it's 3 red now instead of white.
You bearing the lead.
I'm getting to that. I wanted to go over that first. Veers has guidance ground vehicle.
My man actually commanding vehicles.
Hey, ATST, how about a standby token?
You take that standby. You sit on that POI.
If you are
good.
running ATSTs outside of Tempest Force, you're bringing Veers.
100%. Like I don't think it's a question.
No.
Even Gav, like even the Gav.
Even the Gav, which has gone down in points. I mean, it's amazing.
Oh yeah, yep.
It's so much fun to see all these changes. I will say, one of the biggest downsides to some of these changes is just the stormtroopers and snowtroopers. Their melee is now white dice instead of black, but that's because of the riot control squad. You gotta make them look better in melee.
Yeah. That I will be sad about, not being able to take a 6-man stormtrooper and precisely punch something.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
And then lastly, on the unit near and dear to my heart, the LAT, it now has double ordnance.
Along with a lot of the other vehicles, they
Yes.
have double ordnance.
They do. Also, its main cannon got better because now it's got native impact 1, and it went from 1 red and 3 black to 2 red and 2 black.
Yes, sir.
So I see potential more than ever for the LAT to actually be a gunship. Whether or not it's good, I don't know, but I think it has more potential than it used to.
I like it better because cover means something if the opponent doesn't have sharpshooter.
Yes.
So,
And also,
I like it.
Still immune to range 1 weapons and blast and melee. So
yeah.
it's something
Still
that can
good
survive a lot better and just sit somewhere and shoot things.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think that covers all the... one last thing that we haven't talked about that's a change across the factions. Strike teams are now detachments for the larger squad. So if you want a scout trooper strike team, you need to have a full scout trooper squad first. And they don't count towards your maximum for the unit, for the rank. So you can have 3 scouts and 3 strike teams. So you can have 6 special forces now.
That also works for the shore mortar and the rebel vet, whatever it's
any
called.
detachment. So if you want to run
detachment,
6 shore troopers, you can also have 6 mortars.
6 shore, 6 mortars. That's a thing.
And remember, all the mortars have fire support, so they can get free standbys.
Yes. Glorious.
If they get orders.
They're gonna buy me. They're gonna make me buy so much more plastic.
I know, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Now, one
they?
thing I haven't had clarified yet, just on that note, is with the detachment keyword, I don't think they deploy right from the unit anymore, from the parent unit. So the mortars, I think, would have to come in from the edge of the table.
Okay. Yeah, we got to look that one up or look up a forum or
Yeah,
something.
it might have to be a forum question, but they changed the detachment wording in the CRB, and it doesn't say that that's how they deploy like they used to. So I will get back to people on that if I haven't noticed something on the forum asking that yet, but I will go ask.
Nice. All right, well, let me go over some droid changes. Oh man, they made super tax cheaper. Are they insane? And they gave them exemplar. So I like it because they increased the dice quality and the dice number of for their shooting as well. So like like Kraken looks semi-playable now because he throws more dice. And the way cover works now, like it looks pretty decent. Like fielding Kraken might feel good. Maybe. We'll see. Kalani's still a beast. Especially with Exemplar, he's basically the new Padme. You're gonna do strategize on yourself and then one other unit, and then you're gonna take a dodge or an aim. So all hail new Padme. That's right. The droids get a time to shine. Okay, we get Exemplar now. There's lots of cool changes to some of the commanders. My goodness, Count Dooku has a world of buffs that like are just on the unit card.
Dooku is
that are incredible.
Beast now.
He's an absolute unit. He gets surge to block natively. Yes. Yep, that sounds great. He's already better in melee than most other force users because in order to do that, you might have to have like Into the Fray or something in order to earn those surge tokens.
Mm-hmm.
His Force Lightning went up in one extra black die, and the way cover works now, you're actually going to get more hits and crits through. So I love that. And then direct to trooper unit is just really, really great. It's just any trooper unit, whatever you want. It could be a Magna. It could be, I mean, again, it's just whatever you want. Like start your B1 chain. Yeah. Yes. You know what? We'll get to that.
I know.
Grievous actually feels great. I played Grievous, Grievous and 2 Mega B2s, and then 4 Magna Guards in my practice game.
Wait,
learning the rules.
4 Magna Guards?
Because General Grievous has Entourage Magna Guards. So that means you could break the rule and add 1 extra.
Beautiful.
It's
beautiful.
It was dumb. It was so dumb.
Looks like I gotta get another Magna Guard.
Yeah. Yes. General Grievous is like I think still the same point cost, but like
no, he's down
that
to 130.
Entourage helps out so much. Wasn't he 130 before?
I don't think so. I think he was. Hold on.
No way. He was still like 150.
General G.
I thought he was 150, but I don't
Separatist
have
Alliance.
Oh, if he was, then my bad.
I've got him here.
I thought
Hold on.
Yeah.
Grievous was 150.
Okay, stand corrected. Wow, 20 points extra. That's really good.
I will take over going over the Separatist changes.
Okay, yeah. Yes, sir. Okay, John, what does this 2-pip do, okay? What does this new 2-pip do?
No idea.
His best Moff Gideon impression.
That's right, best Moff. He basically crushes a droid in his hand and says, "Go do an extra action," which is probably move or something. And then you earn so many surge tokens off this. Like I read it before I played. I was like, okay, this will give out some. This gives out a dumb amount of surges. Like, oh man, I used so many surges on offense or offense and defense. Like that round I played it. It basically said my B2s get to surge whenever I want them to, which was fun. And then I think now is a good time to talk about AI attack on stuff, anything that has AI something, whether attack, move, dodge. That doesn't really matter as much. The only stipulation is that if you are outside of range 3 from a commander, then
it triggers.
AI attack actually goes off. But if you're smart enough, you just don't do that. I could see a world where droids take 2 different commanders, like maybe a generic tactical droid and like Kalani, or like Dooku, like whatever you want, whatever flavor you want, and then just kind of run up both flanks, just so you don't get AI attack. I could see that world. It's really not that impactful anymore, which is interesting, and I love it because I just don't have to like plan for it in like list building anymore. I'm just free.
Order control is a lot less important.
Exactly. That's what I was going to get to. Like, I don't really care about order control anymore. Which is
Speaking
like nuts.
of,
I was already kind of doing that with EXD, like just not caring.
speaking of, we kind of didn't talk about it, but there is no range limit for issuing orders anymore.
Yes.
Oh, yep.
There's no limit, which is like weird.
Yes.
Very weird.
That
Unless you are the Imperial Remnant.
I think that's the only instance.
That's the only instance.
Yeah, which is, I guess it's fine. I mean, like, okay, B2s, they're absolutely disgusting. They changed to a red dye. That's incredible.
Red die for defense.
You should be playing to defense. And then their arm cannons went from black white to black. This unit's, I don't even care about the wrist rocket. Like the wrist rockets, like it's just like the icing on the cake. Wrist rockets are range 1, impact 1, red dye. Sure. That's fine.
The fact that their arm cannons...
If they don't die by my range 2 pool, sure.
Yeah, but the arm cannons are also their melee weapon, so they're rolling 2 black per guy in melee.
They buffed this unit up so much.
They are so much better. They're now feeling like how B2s look.
Yes. It's about time. Like they're actually worth their point cost.
Yeah.
And then BX Commandos continue to be incredible. I don't know why they gave them jump 1.
But they did.
What?
But they did.
I didn't even notice that.
They gave them jump 1. It's incredible. I don't understand why. And like I'm fine with it, obviously, but I don't think they needed it.
But going off BX Commandos, they did nerf experimental droids. You can only take 2 BXs now.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that's fine because you know what? You're just going to take 2 Mega B2s. Right. Honestly, like I didn't, as soon as I heard that and I looked at Mega B2s, I was like, oh yeah, I don't care anymore. I really, really don't care. I mean, I could go over some other changes, but the AAT actually might see play now because of cover changes. Mm-hmm. Snail Tank looks fine. Just looks like less points.
Yeah. I will say...
Yeah. Actually, they did buff the experimental droid one. It gained critical 1 on the main cannon, and it gained impact 1 for the ion weapon. Oh. So, some buffs there.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, right. Yay, more snails. Mine are still in the box. But I will say some of the other things we didn't touch on. There's no full armor left in the game. Every vehicle has an armor value now. So I think that's kind of fun. You especially with the beefy squads, you could roll enough hits to actually get past the armor, even if you don't roll crits.
Yep.
So that's a nice change. Also, no ion weapons exhaust anymore, which has made me really start looking at my snowtroopers again, because it would be fun to use their ion gun, because that also got upgraded a little bit with slightly better dice and native critical 1. So that's kind of fun.
Yeah, I noticed a lot of ion weapons have native critical 1 now.
But ion also changed. It doesn't immediately get rid of an activation. You have to basically roll for it. So,
right. Kind of like a rally roll for actions.
Yeah. The biggest travesty of this whole thing, beyond not being able to put the Myrtleizer in the lat, is the HH-12 went up in points.
Oh no. That's fine. It doesn't exhaust anymore.
I don't care.
It went up I know it was points. A solid 16-point weapon, but I will gladly take it not exhausting anymore. I'm 100% putting that in Blizzard Force, like the special response one, Storms. I feel like it
doesn't
makes that
exhaust,
so much better.
Which is amazing. It's 22 points now.
That's fine.
Yeah,
that's fine. 3 black die. The way the cover works now, that's fine.
No, the way I like a lot of these weapon changes because all the flamers are now also melee weapons.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's
cool.
That
was also confusing to me. I was like, how are they not naturally like a melee weapon?
Yeah. So, hooray, the flamethrower meta.
But it's also funny on the other hand, where some bombs you could just blow up in someone's face. It's like, hi, I'm here to deliver a pie. Surprise, it's actually a bomb. Like the scouts could do it and the BXs could do it. It's so silly. Yeah. It's like, here's this poison bomb right in your face. Fun stuff. All right. I'm not a Rebel player. Commander Luke looks cool.
Commander Luke looks
like he actually looks
lot
like
better. So just going over it, Rebels have also got some Exemplar now in their army with Leia and the Rebel officer. Leia's blaster's now also range 3. I don't think it used to be. I could be wrong on that.
No.
It
was range 2.
Yeah, and it's 3 black surge to crit. 3 red surge to crit. So that's pretty
better.
On top of the fact she's still a sharpshooter too.
So silly.
Luke is a lot better now. He's got jump 1, block, charge, immune pierce, inspire 2, sharpshooter 1. Anakin's lightsaber has gotten better for him at impact 2, pierce 1, 2 red, and 3 black. Surge to crit.
It used to be 5 black, right?
Yeah. And now it's surge to crit natively. I don't know if he always was. I don't think he was. And
I think he was.
Okay.
I think he was.
Yeah. And
his pierce dropped from 2 to 1.
2 to 1, okay. And he's got his blaster, which is range 1 to 2, 1 red, 3 black. Pierce 1 with long shot.
Yep. Yeah, that's an upgrade. Big upgrade.
And his new model looks amazing. So
yes,
that model alone might make me start wanting to paint my Rebels.
I think just scrolling through, I think you're going to want to take a mega squad of Rebel troopers. They have Agile 1 and Nimble.
Yeah.
So you just literally entrench them. I think they might be a better entrenchment trooper than Rebel vets.
Yeah.
Maybe. I know the vets have low profile, but like, I don't know, a dodge that keeps coming back.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
I don't know. Seems pretty good.
I don't know if we pointed this out, but Commander Luke is 120 points.
Yes.
All the Force user got a huge point reduction because Force Push is now a 40-point upgrade.
Yes.
We could probably talk about this here. How do we feel about Force Push being 40 points? Are we still taking it?
Yeah. Well, it depends on what I'm trying to do with my Force user. Like, I don't know That's if fair. I would if I was doing double Inquisitor. Because I feel like I could just put Burst of Speed on them and get them into the meat grinder faster. Because they only have the one option.
Yeah, that's fair.
But anybody with 2 open spots, one of them is still Force
John,
Push.
what about you? Are you still taking it?
I feel like I am until proven otherwise. I feel like at first glance it's still a auto include until proven otherwise.
Cool.
But after I play a couple games, that might change. So I mean, right now though, it seems like it's a definite. The interesting thing I was thinking about is like in Breakthrough, if you pin a guy to the board edge, you can't force push them outside of the breakthrough zone because that'd be 6 inches, so they'd be about an inch shy. Whereas with a point of interest, they're contesting it if they are at basically that half range, which is 3 inches. You could force push them outside of contention. So in some ways, force push can influence all objectives, whereas before it was only some objectives, if that makes sense, in certain situations.
That's fair. Yeah, in certain situations, yeah.
I mean, all the stuff now is a set thing that you need to be close enough to. If you can force push them away from it, you're more likely to score a point than your opponent.
Right. Yeah. So for force push, it's like, okay, any point of interest I can push someone off of. Whereas before, there'd be situations with Anakin where it's like, I can get there, but I'm not going to be able to influence anything in situations like that, like the breakthrough example. So that might give it a little bit. I mean, that's pretty situational, but I mean, it's not situational in the fact that a point of interest is always going to be something you're going to be able to push something out of range of.
Right.
So seems to me to still be an auto include until proven otherwise after I get like 5 games under my belt to say for certain.
I'm not sure where I fall yet, but yeah, I think it's just more games, obviously.
Yeah.
Just depends on what I'm trying to do.
All right, well, for the low price of 700 points, you can have 4 force pushes in the Empire.
Oh, that's super cheap. What a bargain.
Palpatine with force push, Op Vader with force push, Seventh Sister with force push, and Fifth Brother with force push. It's 700 points.
That's disgusting.
Not even I'm crazy enough to run that list.
No, that will not be good.
No.
Palpatine's too old.
But you can do it.
Yeah.
That's the funny part. You can do it.
Oh man, what an investment! That 120, that's almost a mega squad too.
Right?
Yeah, 120 points for just 4 upgrades.
I mean, it's more than some mega squads.
It is.
Because like a short
Anyways,
trooper with just a T-21 and the extra guys is 154.
Yeah, it's like real close to that. Anyways, gentlemen, I think we've been rattling off for a little while now. What do you guys think? Wrap up with some final thoughts? Sure. Yes.
No, I was
Final
seeing
thoughts.
if John was going to go first.
Yes. Sorry, you guys froze on my end. So
Oh, okay.
so I was like, I hope they're still talking.
No, so
I was like, oh, okay, no one will talk. That's fine.
final thoughts. I'm pretty optimistic about all these changes. They look fun. Obviously, I gotta get some games in and see how it actually feels playing. But just on paper, it looks like some fun changes, especially a lot of the units. It's really opening up new ideas in my head and making me think of all sorts of crazy ideas with my list building. And the increase in points is really also opening up what I think I can do, because I'm still building lists that are in the 10 to 11 act range, but they feel a lot more fun because I have all those extra points I can throw on things.
You have the extra toys.
Yeah, I got the extra
fun
toys in the sandbox. Nice. So it's looking a lot more fun just from that aspect. I don't know how it'll be on the table, but I'm having more fun list building than I have in a long time.
Nice. John, what about you?
I mean, I'm excited to try it. I think there's a number of things that I'm not too happy about, but I'm still optimistic about giving it a shot, of course. I'm obviously not going to be like, I'm not playing Legion anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm still excited about the game. I'm looking forward to all the new stuff that they have coming, that they went over in the roadmap, and there's some really cool models and things on the horizon that AMG has in the works. So that excites me. It's not like we're part of the X-Wing or Armada community where the game is pretty much, not going to see any new development. Yeah. So unfortunately, but yeah, I mean, I'm excited, but like I said, there's a lot of things that I'm not overly happy with, but I'm definitely going to work through those those challenges, and I will learn, this new Legion that we have here in front of us.
What's that Star Wars quote? Search your feelings. Must be true or something.
Yeah, I'm trying to be as positive as possible is the best way. So I don't even know how to phrase it. I mean, when I start to list off the things that I'm like, why did they do that? Why did they do that? It's a much larger list than the things that I'm like, hey, that's exciting. But I'm also not trying to be doom and gloom. So I find myself in this very weird spot of how do I be positive, even though there's a lot of things I'm not overly thrilled with that they changed. So that's kind of where I'm at the moment.
I mean, I think that's kind of where I'm at, where it's just a lot of the changes are like interesting and weird. I'm not sure why they changed some, but like overall there's a lot to be excited about. So that's why I want to at least give this a fair shakeout. And I had fun playing my first learning game. I was like, it's fun. It's still Still Star Wars on the board. It's just, I feel like the game's going to be extremely lethal. So expect stuff to die by like turn 2, turn 3. Like a lot of stuff. I think that was one of their design goals for like stuff to just die. So don't be too sad when your stuff dies. Overall, I'm excited. Should be fun. Looking forward to more games. Looking forward to more crazy lists I want to try. It's just there's so much variety out there. My only like small negative is I don't have enough time to try it all. Maybe I get 1 week, like one game in a week. So it's like
boo-hoo, that's more than I get.
I know, right? Seems pretty good. Yeah, I'm excited. Well, cool. I hope everyone enjoyed listening to this episode. If you want to chat with us about anything, you could send us an email at swlingloriousblasters@gmail.com. You could join our Discord and chat with us there. The link is in the show notes. And with that, I think we can call this an episode. Stay glorious, everyone.
Corey.
I know.
We don't get to say our names anymore.
You don't get to say shit.
I actually just thought I froze. I was like, damn it, I did it again.
I honestly
we don't
forgot.
have names anymore? Oh.
Anyways, I'm Corey.
I'm John.
I don't have a name anymore. It's all Corey's fault.
Corey can stay inglorious.
I got the best name ever. I want to say it.
All right, I'm in. Stop.